You're watching Fox 10 Phoenix now.
We begin with a Fox 10 News alert here. New information about a major fire. This one's a big one here inside of a Valley storage facility.
Yeah, let's get out to Irene Snyder. She's joining us live from the scene near the Loop 101 and 19th Avenue. Good morning, Irene.
Good morning, guys. We've been out here all morning. The road is completely cleared up. It was closed there at North 19th Avenue for much of the overnight hours. You can take a look here and see the remnants of the fire. Well, as much as you can see here anyway, I will say. Deer Valley Self-Storage is where it happened now. The fire itself happened on the other side of this gate, but taking a look at some of that video from overnight, you can see just how big the fire was. The flames, the smoke just billowing out of those storage units, dozens of storage units, in fact. According to the Phoenix Fire Department, 50 to 75 units were affected. Now they had to go into each individual unit, open them up and put the fire out again in each individual unit. Now just looking at that video, you can see how bad the fire was in the overnight hours, breaking out just around 1:30 a.m. here at Deer Valley Self-Storage on North 19th Avenue in Phoenix. Flames, again, they found coming from multiple units, 50 to 75 effective units. Now, this was called out as a first alarm fire. Dozens of crews or dozens of fire trucks, and as a matter of fact, were out here in the overnight hours for hours this morning, closing off part of North 19th Avenue for that morning commute. Now, no firefighters were injured is the good news, but we don't know the extent of the damage. Again, it was 50 to 75 different self-storage units here that were affected. We're waiting to see if anyone who has a storage unit here might come out here to try and check them out. We have not seen anyone so far. Still very early here in the morning. Again, waiting to learn more about the extent of the damage inside those storage units, but just taking a look at those flames, the smoke from the overnight hours, you can imagine just how bad the damage is there inside these 50 to 75 affected units. So again, we're going to be out here now throughout the morning, hoping to see if we can find anyone affected by this. But again, no one has showed up so far. It is a gated area here at North 19th Avenue at Deer Valley Self-Storage. Again, no one hurt, no firefighters hurt, and the fire at this point is out. The crews have all left the scene. We'll send it back to you guys for now.
All right, Irene, thank you for your report out there this morning. We'll see you in a few moments as well. We're also staying on top of another news alert developing at this hour in North Phoenix.
Dominic Newland is live with the very latest on a police investigation. This in the area of 19th Avenue and Cactus. Good morning, Dom.
Good morning. So it looks like police have now just wrapped up this investigation moments ago here at 19th Ave and Cactus, like you said, at the Wash Around the Clock car wash. So here's a look at the scene, what's really left of it. But the main point of interest, you guys, was this car you can see here. A little bit earlier, all the doors were open. The trunk was popped as well. And we were watching officers kind of go through that car, take photos. They were shining their flashlights there. So we're not really sure what the car is doing here, kind of its involvement in this investigation. Maybe a suspect had fled from it, but right now it is still currently on scene, not being towed away. We do see one police cruiser who's kind of watching over the scene, but the car wash, we're already seeing one customer here, so it is back open to the public. It has reopened since a little bit earlier ago. So right now it's next to a Circle K as well. The gas station operating as normal. No traffic closures as well. This is still a developing situation. We did reach out to Phoenix Police this morning. We are still waiting to hear back, but as we can see, 19th Avenue here in Cactus, this car still on scene there, but reopened to the public this morning. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Dominique reporting live for us this morning. We have yet another Fox 10 News alert to share with you on this Wednesday morning. Police investigating a shooting call. This is in the area of 51st Avenue and Indian School Road. So these are live images. Our photojournalist just arriving on scene. So this looks like it might be between two businesses or in the back of an alley here. This came out as a shooting call. And again, we are working to get additional information. But as we zoom in, you can see one of those police cruisers over there, as well as that police tape around the area. So again, we are waiting to get additional information. As soon as we do, we'll pass that along to you. A curfew is now in effect for teens that live in the Gila River Indian community.
Yeah, we're just hearing some of the details here on why this is the case. The tribe says this is necessary because of a rise in violent crime. The curfew will begin at 7 p.m. every night and end at 5 a.m. every morning through March the 9th. The extent of an increase in violence in recent weeks has not yet been explained, but anyone under 18 will need to be with a parent or or legal guardian if they are in public spaces during those curfew hours. This comes as Gila River Police Department, they investigate a shooting in Saskatoon that took place yesterday. A person of interest was detained just a few hours ago, and so we'll bring you new details on this, but that new curfew in place there on the Gila River Indian community. The elementary school district of Saskatoon says all remaining baseball and basketball games will now be moved to other sites due to some of the security threats they are receiving. Details on that and those locations later on today. Developing this morning, we are learning about plans for even more school closures around the valley.
Yeah, the very latest one coming out of the Cave Creek Unified School District, where they are saying that they will have to close Lone Mountain Elementary. The school board previously voted to keep the school open earlier this month. However, this week, the governing board voted 3-2 to close the school in July. In the meantime, families in the Phoenix Elementary School District voiced their concerns about a plan to close Dunbar Elementary as well as Hurd Elementary, or cut several programs. The last of the 3 public meetings taking place last night. The board is expected to vote on the closure next Tuesday. Of course, we're going to stay on top of this one for you. And returning now to coverage on immigration. Governor Katie Hobbs has signed an executive order to increase enforcement along our southern border.
Well, Hobbs created a joint task force called Operation Desert Guardian. State agencies like Arizona DPS and the Arizona Department of Emergency and Military Affairs will then partner with local law enforcement in Yuma, Pima, Santa Cruz, and Cochise counties. The focus will be on combating drug and human smuggling. Hobbs says the operation will be funded by the state's border security fund.
So the governor's order comes as the Trump administration is announcing illegal immigrants must sign up for a government registry. Now, the rule applies to illegal immigrants 14 years or older who haven't submitted fingerprints or registered with the federal government. So those who fail to register risk being fined or imprisoned. The online form where migrants must sign up has not been published just yet. Now, after signing up, immigrants will receive a registration document that they must hold at all times. At the Capitol, a bill to ban certain chemicals and food dyes in Arizona school lunches is now going before the state Senate.
House Bill 2164 passed unanimously in the House. It would prevent Arizona schools from serving or even selling ultra-processed foods on campus during a normal school day. The bill defines ultra-processed as foods containing ingredients like potassium bromate, red dyes 3 or 40, and there is a whole list of others, some we can't even pronounce. Experts say certain kinds of additives can negatively impact children. The bill needs to pass in the Senate before then heading to Governor Katie Hobbs' desk.
Former Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema also at the state capitol to advocate for House Bill 2871. Now, this would authorize $5 million for clinical studies into the use of Ibogaine, which is used to treat traumatic brain injuries, PTSD, and addiction. Now, if approved, Sinema has pledged to help raise $5 million in matching funds. She was joined by 2 military veterans who went to northern Mexico for Ibogaine treatments.
To me, Ibogaine, what it gave me is white space to be able to build new systems in my brain to get healthy. Like, it didn't solve all the problems, but it gave me enough of a barrier that I could start getting healthy.
So the Arizona House Appropriations Committee approved the bill on Monday. It now goes to the full House for consideration.
Developing at this hour, the city of Phoenix spending $9 million to clean up the I-17 corridor. The area runs along Interstate 17 from Indian School to Bell Roads, has been long known for violent crime, prostitution, and drugs. Phoenix police will use the money to add detection systems, traffic cameras, and license plate readers to provide real-time intelligence to officers in the field. The department is also working with ASU to measure data in the spring to help determine if the new strategies are in fact working.
Switching gears here, Fox in Space, scientists may have discovered how Mars got its iconic red color. Using data from orbiters and landers over the past few decades, scientists have determined that at some point iron within rocks on Mars reacted with water, or water and oxygen in the air created iron oxide. dioxide. Now, this is similar to how rust is formed here on Earth. Previous theories didn't detect any evidence of water. The new research could change the way scientists understand what Mars was like millions of years ago. Well, wildfires can happen at any time here in our state, and we want to make sure that you stay prepared.
Crystal has a closer look at what we could expect in the coming months, especially as our temperatures start to inch a little bit higher. I know we'll see a cool down next week, Crystal, but today it's going to be quite warm.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a result, it's that time of year where we have to begin discussing wildfire. Now, technically, our season is year round in Arizona, but we do see a peak typically in spring and summer. And it's all about those factors when it comes to our forecast. Hot conditions, windy conditions, dry conditions. We've got all three, especially by tomorrow. So take a look. This is the fire potential outlook for Thursday, and you can see that it has been upped in parts of Yavapai County, Mojave County, and even the West Valley, as well as southeastern Arizona, to a moderate risk for fires to spark, something to watch out for tomorrow. But the bigger question is, with how dry of a winter we have had, what does the outlook look like moving forward? So the Department of Forestry and Fire Management just had a chat with the state climatologist regarding exactly that. Here's some of the top takeaways. Of course, the top factors include, was it a dry winter, which it certainly was for us this winter so far, and as we move forward, it's still looking pretty dry. Then, will it remain hot, dry, and windy as you go through spring and early summer, which again are those trigger factors to creating bigger fires around the state? They also recapped just last year, and 2024 had over 2,000 fires statewide, with over 280,000 acres burned as a result of those fires. And always the hope is that you do not break that the following year. 2023 was actually less in terms of coverage compared to 2024. Some of the other takeaways that came out of that discussion was that the expectation is, no surprise, for above average temperatures as we head into spring, coupled with drier than normal conditions. Not good. That's two checks on the point towards a worse or more active wildfire system. Then we look at winds, and the windy pattern that we have seen all winter long, it appears, may continue into spring. Again, not a good factor for us. Above normal fuel along and south of Mogollon Rim are in place because it has been so dry. Remember, last year it was so wet, things grew. Now it has all dried out. And then that spring, early summer is usually when we see human-caused fires, with June and beyond lightning-induced fires because of the monsoon. So with all those kind of information factored in, this is the outlook over the next few months. First, we'll start with March, and March begins with an above normal threat or risk for significant fire develop in southeastern Arizona. But this is the trend we don't like to see. By April, that expands now through much of Pinal County, much of the valley, and eastern parts of Arizona. Again, above normal fire activity is looking possible. And then finally, by May, this is a map that I didn't want to draw. May, with the potential for above normal risk for significant fire development about east half of the state, including again the valley and unfortunately up to Flagstaff, down the rim and into the White Mountains, all under that elevated risk, guys, because of the dry winter coupled with the likely warm spring that we will have ahead.